On today's episode of WatchJRGo, we are back in the shop with my Zero that I just bought, and it turns out they did mean zero. What is going on, guys? I am WatchJRGo, and today we are back in the shop with my 2022 Zero S 7.2. And the name Zero means everything they implied. I think we all thought that zero meant zero emissions and zero noise, but it turns out it means like zero acceleration on the highway and unintended consequences like a car might hit you. And also zero too, for at least it still turns on. I have heard that if you hit 0% sometimes, there were a couple threads that like the bike will just be bricked. So I'm hoping that it will actually charge. But you can see right here that the bike didn't even make it to 3,000 miles yet. And it's been on the charger 3 times today, not for very long, but 3 times, and we're at 0. So let's see if we can plug this thing in and it will actually start charging. All right, it's charging 0%, and it says it's gonna take 5 hours and 57 minutes to charge back to 100. And take note right there, the motor is at 120 degrees Fahrenheit. So it's story time. Earlier this morning, I hit up 100% Jake because he's working on an electric motorcycle project too. You guys might be relatively familiar with it from this channel. Jake might be involved with that now too. You're gonna have to wait for his video to come out. I don't wanna spoil anything, but it is very, very cool. I was super excited to see it, and he was super excited to ride this, my new Zero S. And I was like, I'm on my way, let's go riding. And obviously he has a bunch of motorcycles too. He's got that Aprilia, and I think his Ducati's still around. So he's stacking up the motorcycles over there, but we were gonna go out and ride the Aprilia and this. So I went over there, checked out the project he's working on, and then we headed out. So then we leave Jake's house and we head to a road in Mexico, and we merge onto that highway, and the Aprilia just walks away from me. And I go wide open throttle on this thing, and it goes the fastest it had ever gone, which was very cool. And then all of a sudden the temp light comes on. And I mean, maybe 10 seconds later, the temp light turned solid amber on the dash. And then it starts flashing and immediately limits the bike to 70 miles an hour. And I was like, oh no, because I was accelerating and all of a sudden there are cars catching me rapidly. So I'm in trouble, right? You don't want to be stuck in that multi-lane highway traffic on a motorcycle and be on the wrong part of the road. So I start getting off so I can get out of harm's way, and the bike starts giving me power back, and the light stops flashing, turns back to a solid temperature light, and then is just magically fine until this. And then it goes all the way to our destination to go buy gloves, where this video starts. You know, I think the S was sort of a first bike. I don't know, you know. I don't know the Zero lineup that well, guys, but what I can tell you is Jake and I just went for a quick little ride, and this thing does actually go way better than we ever thought. But we went out on the highway and got on it, and it popped up with an overheat warning. It started with just a yellow temp gauge like we'd see on any car, and then it started flashing, of course. And I didn't have motor temp pulled up, but when we parked just a second ago, the motor was at 204, which means it must have been at like 250 when we parked it, which is absolutely insane, because I started recording like 40 seconds ago. It's already dropped 20 degrees. So who knew? Who knew this could actually overheat? So I thought this thing was going to be absolutely bulletproof and never need anything, but it turns out it needs water cooling. Like, what on earth? But hey, we're almost at 3,000 miles. So honestly, I have no idea what that was about. By the time we got stopped, the temperature light had shut off, but the motor temp was still at like 200 plus, as you could see, which means I can only assume the motor overheat must be like 250 degrees Fahrenheit, which is an insane temperature, to be clear. Wild to see a motor running that hot ever. And it's only air cooled, like I said in the video, which it should probably be water cooled, especially with all the room that's on here. And I think most of the early ones, everyone who's tried to make an electric bike fast has water cooled them, because why wouldn't they? It's super easy to do. I think the Brahmos had it, which means the Victories had it, and pretty much everyone else. I think even Zero's big bikes might be water cooled, but this one isn't. And for some reason, it overheated in, I mean, we went from standstill hanging out to wide open throttle to overheat in a matter of 15 seconds or something like that. It literally was like 0 going fast and then overheated. And it literally makes no sense. I wasn't beating on it before that. So I don't know how, and it hasn't happened since. But then we rode around for a little bit, went and got lunch, went over to Hoovy's, worked on some projects with him, and now we are back here where the bike is at 0%. And luckily it made it home.
Guys, I think we're in trouble! This is not good!
I wasn't actually, it was doing fine even at 0%. I wasn't out of acceleration like I would be on a lot of other electric vehicles, so that was actually nice. It must hide a lot of reserve in the pack, but just so you know, if it says 0, you will still make it at least the mile home, because it hit 0 when I had about a mile left to the house. I thought I was gonna be pushing it. Luckily, I didn't. So that is the update on my 0. Literally 1 day later, I went back to the dealership. I asked if they still do service. They weren't quite sure, so I think they might be all the way out of the game. I really hope they're not. But then I realized this thing is a 22, which means it might be out of warranty already. I don't know what I'm gonna do. So it's still working just fine, other than today, you know, showing me what might happen if things go wrong. So don't get too far away from home with your 0, and also, I don't know, find more batteries for it. You can't add the batteries, obviously. I did look that up. You can't add this battery, and then maybe you can add the charge tank. It's a dealer installed accessory. Not charge tank, power tank. There's a charge tank that you can add, and then there's a power tank that you might be able to add. And the charge tank gives you J1722, and the power tank gives you 3.6 more kilowatts of battery, I think. And they're super, super expensive, like $4,000 for the power tank. So that's the story of the first day of riding my 0. Pretty funny. We still haven't even made it to the 3,000 miles I was trying to get to. 13 miles away still. So after it charges for like 2.5 hours, I might be able to go pull that off, which would be kind of cool to see that number pop up there. But you know, I think it might be going away. I think as soon as it came, it might be going right back up for sale. And the comments in the last video were pretty much universally telling me now's the time to sell it too. Everybody was like, well, you got a great deal, get rid of it. And you know, I'm thinking I might be getting rid of it because I don't want to be stuck in the middle of the road, in the middle of a highway with a bike that somehow overheated an electric motor, not even going that fast. Absolutely wild. I still love the idea of electric motorcycles, but this might have been the wrong one for me. Great for a learner, might have been the wrong one for me. I want to be able to go hang with actual motorcycles, and this is fun. Everybody loves riding it, but then you get on the road with a bunch of motorcycles and you're way out of your element. You can't do anything. You can just go with them for like 20, 30 minutes and then you got to head home, because it's got to charge for 5 hours. So this 0S might be a 0. I'd be more interested in riding the sport bike some more, because at least it has a 100-mile range, and then I wouldn't be worried. This one truly does only have 62 miles of range, which is, it's simply not enough. In the last video, I mentioned that I was hoping you could see your media information on the display, but you can't. No matter what, it will not show what's playing on your phone on the display there, but you can see now there's the Bluetooth icon, and now here in the 0 app, you can also see the Bluetooth icon. So it's connected instead of in demo mode, and it's charging right now at 5%, 539 until it's full. Average watt hours per mile went up actually. It did not get better. And anyway, the rest of that's pretty irrelevant. It doesn't really matter. And then here we have our battery data. So it's charging at 9 amps right now, 10 amps, pulling, you know, it's a 20 amp circuit, so no big deal, plenty of overhead there. Battery voltage is pretty low at 97 right now, and 83 charge cycles on it. So that's all the info about this battery. And then over here in performance, you can see that the trip odometer, I put more than 52 miles on it because I reset it in the middle of the last video accidentally. And then I've saved $6.4 in that 52 miles. Which is kind of nonsense. I mean, a lot of bikes can do 52 miles per gallon, so that's more like $3. Anyway, that's what the app does, and the thing the app doesn't do is upgrade the firmware, and the ride screens don't work. None of this stuff works. So if you see the landscape preview here, and then you look at the dash, and it's absolutely not that. It's like a tri-gauge. And let's see, portrait. What is the point of this, guys? I have no idea because it simply isn't true and doesn't work. And if I click ride screen preview, it looks super cool. Like this would be the greatest display ever if it showed up on the bike, but it doesn't, and you can't change any of it. So it's very unfortunate. I'd much rather have these sweeps than the round dials there. These are very cool. I love the battery display there, but you can't send this stuff to the bike. It just doesn't work at all. And I tried, I looked at all that, simply doesn't work. And then over here, you can try firmware update, but it'll just fail immediately. So looking for firmware updates, and when I say immediately, it's actually super, super, super slow. I've tried this 3 times today, and every time, eventually it says operation timed out, but then it says firmware up to date. So I think it's actually just failing. It's not actually up to date. And if I could update it, I might be able to fix the gauges. Really just nothing but problems with this thing. Nothing works the way the app says it does, you know, and it's not enough mileage to get around. It should fail anytime now. It shows the error down here at the bottom of the screen, so I'm just kind of waiting on that to pop up. I don't know if it's going to. Sure would be nice if it did. And then I was like, you know what, I want to see the logs, because you can collect the logs from it. And it was going to take like 20-30 minutes to download the logs from the bike and email them to me. So this is a pretty bad implementation. I really don't know how. It can't be like Bluetooth 1. It's got to be 2.0. Oh, there. Unable to download firmware. I missed it. I missed what it said, but hopefully you guys saw it. But now it just says you have the latest and greatest firmware, which if there's an error, then it has to just be wrong. So that's the update with the app. Here's the logs. I'll show you guys everything that it does. You want to work on the bike? Nope. No zeros for him either. He is not about this. Email bike logs, and maybe motorcycle logs takes less time? No. Miserable. This just doesn't make any sense because the packages must only be like a megabyte, and Bluetooth can move a megabyte in like a half a second. So that's what I really don't understand. Anyway, that's the Zero app, and that is how things are going with this bike so far. I thought it was going to be an absolute game changer, but instead it's more of a tether to stay close to the house. It did get me to Lowe's and back a second ago. That's when I was actually running out of battery. So I guess, I mean, it's good for quick little runs to the hardware store to get stuff to finish the house. Anyway, shoot me a comment if you want to buy this thing. It might not be the greatest sales pitch, but it might work out really, really well for your use case, and the price is something more than I paid for it. I haven't tagged it yet, and I obviously have to, so it will be, I guess, like 3 months before we actually get a title for it. Just keep that in mind, and it'll cost me another like $200 to tag it. So add all that into the price. $4,500, you could have yourself a Zero S. Might be the perfect bike for you. That is it for today, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to head on over to shop WatchJRGo.com for cool shirts, not like this. And please like, share, subscribe, do whatever you want to do, and I will talk to you next time. Well, Zero, back to the Goldwing. The Goldwing might be the best bike in the world, so it's hard to ride that and then get on this. The best garage you could ever have is like Goldwing S1000RR, but instead, I bought this. Like I said, the Zero just couldn't cut it, so here we are with the old Hype Wing. Quick trip to the Red Robin. You guys know how it goes. Unlimited fries and unlimited range when you bring the gas bike.